Hi guys, my name is Ritika. I graduated from Jordy Valley last year and I'm currently a freshman majoring in biological sciences at UC Davis. So I guess we'll just get right into the questions. I think I've always known that I wanted to become a doctor. I can't really pinpoint one specific point in time where I said that I wanted to become a doctor. I just never really felt like I could see myself doing anything different. But I know a lot of people go back and forth for a while, even well into college before they decide. Um, but I don't know, it's only been 1/4 of the pre-med track, so hopefully I can stick through with it. But we'll see. So in high school, during my freshman year, I was definitely part of that group of people who signed up for literally everything, but then never really went to the meetings. I um I ended up doing parliament debate for 2 years, and then I played basketball for 2.5 years as well. And then I also did the basic volunteer clubs that almost everyone does. But I think that what impacted me the most were the programs that I did over the summer. I did a medical program at UCSF over my freshman year summer that made me really excited to get onto the medical track. I looked at the medical students at UCSF and I would always just picture myself in their shoes, and I just really wanted to get there. Also, I did an internship over my junior year summer where um, I shadowed doctors and networked with people in the medical field, which was really cool. And I kind of got to see what life as a medical professional was like. Having that hands on experience also definitely further fermented my drive to become a doctor. Um, so I just generally tried to do pre med related things in high school, but honestly, I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. I would just do what you're really passionate about and get extremely good at it. One of my friends in college was actually really, really good at MUN and was actually voted most likely to become a lawyer her senior year, and now she's on the pre med track. So, to become a doctor, what you really need is some sort of perseverance and excellence. As long as you show some of that, regardless of what you do, I think you're going to be fine. Um, for me, I knew that I really wanted to take part in research during my undergrad and go to a school with a more lax environment than what I was used to. Additionally, I always was kind of a homebody and didn't really want to go too far from home, which is nice because there's a plus of an in-state tuition. But I didn't really want to like pay a lot for my undergrad because I wanted to go to medical school anyways and knew that I would just be drowning in student debt if I paid a lot for my undergrad as well. So based on that, UC Davis seemed to be a good fit for me in that regard, but it is to your own discretion and whatever like works for you, of course. But I do recommend researching a couple of colleges that you are aiming for pretty early on in your high school years to understand what they're looking for and then try to cater your high school experiences towards that, kind of instead of doing your own thing and then trying to fit into a school that's looking for a certain type of student. With that being said, don't be devastated if you don't get into the school that you want, that you thought you worked so hard for. I'm not gonna lie, like, school acceptances and college acceptances, like, that couple of months are pretty brutal. But I promise that everything has a way of working out in the end, and this is coming from someone who definitely took a hit and went through that grieving process of college acceptances and rejections as well. Be happy, I think, for what you've accomplished, and the opportunity to accomplish more. And I think that's what college is all about. It's not about getting into the best schools or getting into your dream schools, which is would be amazing if you did. But if you don't, just know that like you can still do a lot with what you have. And I know you guys are probably tired of hearing this a lot, but it's also like a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond. And it really does apply to college. And I truly believe that everyone ends up where they need to be. So I wouldn't worry too much. In high school, I was told to take APs that I was interested in, and honestly, that was some of the best advice I've ever been given. I took AP World, AP Bio, Comp Sci, Psych, Econ, Gov, Lang, Calc. Um, but in college, my APs actually didn't give me credit for classes because for my school, you aren't allowed to apply your APs for your major credits, but it did give me units, which helps in like a GE aspect. You'll probably understand that more once you get into college. I think stats do matter to get you on some schools' radar and to like for them to even consider you, but I don't think it's everything. Definitely not everything. But I would recommend like, try not to fail your classes and get above maybe B's and A's. So for me, a typical day for this quarter was kind of just going to classes in the morning because most of my classes were in the morning and lectures were in the morning, and then get back around lunchtime, and then I'll eat some food, and then I'll go back to my dorm, study for a couple of hours, and then I usually take like a nap for a little bit, and then I eventually wake up and go to my evening classes, and then I'll get dinner. After my evening classes, I'll come back, study until I go to sleep, basically, and then repeat the next day. Obviously, it varies from like day to day depending on what other events I have going on, like clubs or like research opportunities or internships and stuff. But like, I usually have that general schedule, and then I usually keep Fridays completely free to just completely recuperate and catch up on sleep and hang out with my friends because I definitely believe that life is about having a healthy balance, and you're gonna find yourself being extremely unhappy if you don't have that balance. And another piece of advice, I feel the most important thing is to love what you do and be genuinely curious about things. And then studying doesn't really become so much of a chore, but more of like a part of your life. And it feels weird to not study sometimes. Um, my future goals right now are hopefully to graduate in 4 years and then go to med school. Something that I'm thinking about right now is whether or not I want to take a gap year. But I know that's a lot later on down the line to finally decide, but right now I'm thinking about it. And I also hope to get involved in some research and maybe study abroad in the near future. But again, I believe in like planning for the future, but always making room for change because the future is very unpredictable and sometimes you just gotta live day by day. So I wish I would have put less emphasis on my stats and more on making an impact. School, like schools, okay. If you were to do high school over again, what would you do different? Okay, so if I were to do high school over again, I wish I would have put less emphasis on my grades and my stats, and I would put more emphasis on making an impact. Schools and colleges don't want selfish people, and looking back, I feel like trying to get a perfect GPA was kind of a selfish quest. Anyone can sit down and get straight A's. It's not as hard as you think. Like if you just sit down and study, like anyone can do that. But it takes a special kind of person to sacrifice that for a greater good and a greater cause. And I think what to keep in mind is that colleges want someone who will be missed when they leave their high school because of the impact that they had. Like you want people to remember you because of what you've done for them and what you've done for the school. And that's the kind of people that colleges are looking for. I'm definitely not saying anything like drop your grades on purpose because that's definitely not the way to go. But it is not the end of the world if you get one or two B's or you didn't get a perfect SAT score because you were out there making a difference. The difference you made will give you more to write about on your college essays than I think a perfect GPA ever will. So just keep that in mind and don't freak out if you don't like have the most perfect stats or whatever. So I guess that's going back to the question about do stats matter? But yeah. Other than that, I do wish you guys all good luck in all your future endeavors. I know you guys are all going to do great. Dory does a really great job of preparing you for what's to come. And remember that if you need any help, don't be ashamed to ask for it. And stay positive. Okay. Bye.